All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
All right, I like ready. How does it feel to be done? You know your scores are done. How does it feel to be done with it?
It'll get better when we know where we landed.
It'll get better when so we're gonna have some anticipation.
Sweat, and we can't do anything about it.
That makes some sense to me. There's part of it where I'm like, oh, thank God. Well, at least it's just over now, right? Whatever it is, you can't control that anymore.
More nuggets for us, don't you?
I got a few more. We'll see. We got a few more nuggets. So this has been an idea of mine that has been around for a little while, but we have not presented this at a top rep. You're the very first to see this. And so we're taking out a piece of content that's in your book. We can get that to you through a video and all that other good stuff on creating leads. We got all kinds of cool stuff about that we can share with you. But I really want to see what you guys think about this. See if you're up for it. See if it's something that you want to pursue. Because one of the things that we know about events like this is whenever we leave, we tend to get a little lazy, right? We're all excited. It was cool. I learned some new stuff. You implemented a couple of cool things maybe in what you're doing, but you don't really implement it like the way you should, fully 100% and really nail it down. And so we were talking about this idea of creating a challenge. You know, I did the 75 hard thing, and it was hard. There's no joke about it. How many have ever done the 75 hard? I know there's a couple of you, right? It ain't easy, right? No. It's pretty serious. So what I'm about to show you also is not easy. As a matter of fact, Nathan over there earlier told me it's too much. It's too much.
That's the mustache talking.
I know. He's
Mustache is always talking.
Well, there's one thing about Nathan. Nathan doesn't really like the whole challenge thing. He's like, I don't need that stuff. So, but some of us do. I want to talk about that. His only challenge right now is to keep that thing from hitting his bottom lip. So, let's talk about what this is. There's some rules to this. Number one rule is you have to join the Top Rep High Performance Sales Facebook group. How many of you are a member of that group already? So there's a few of you that are already a member. It's on Facebook. You can find it. Take a picture of this screen if you want to. Go join the group, okay? That's number one thing. You only have to do that once. You don't have to do it daily or anything like that. We get it out of the way. Thing number two is to keep a daily sales schedule. So you're going to create a sales schedule, and you're going to keep that thing. Think of it as like the diet in the 75 hard thing. I've got this schedule. I'm going to do it every day. Everybody with me? So you only have to create that once, but you follow it every day. Then there's a 10-minute mindset, which I like to call reset meditation. There's a power hour daily, so 1 hour of dedicated practice to your craft. You can see a couple of things there. We'll go through some slides on it. Plan and complete your big three. I'll talk to you about what that is. 1 social post every day, 30 minutes of health, doing something for you. And it's really something for your brain. I'm going to talk about how that works. Learn about 1 new trade component, product, or construction practice. Read a sales improvement book or listen to a sales podcast without distraction for 30 minutes. If you're driving, it doesn't count. That's a distraction. You don't listen to things whenever you're driving. You say you do. I'll give you a test on it when you're done. Let's see how you do, okay? Distraction free. And then random act of kindness is giving back to other people, doing something kind for it. You'll be amazed at what that does for your mentality. And then write 1 way you can improve daily. Is that too much?
No.
So here's a little study that was done. There was a study done on a group of people that wanted to focus on a particular aspect in their world. It could be their relationship. It could be something at work. It could be some kind of skill they wanted to improve. Whatever it was, didn't matter, but it was a thing they wanted to work on. And the study was done that if they spent 90 minutes a day over 90 days, the results would be dramatically different than just saying you're going to do it. They actually had to do some tasks to go along with it, much like one of these challenges. What they found is that they had 2 groups. They had a group that said they wanted to do it, and then they had a group that followed a regimen to do it, to say, hey, I got a challenge of some type. The group that did the challenge outperformed the group that didn't do the challenge by 330%. Now, to me, that's a significant difference. Yeah. So I want to challenge you guys, if you truly want to master what it is that you're doing, to have some dedication to it. So what's this going to, anytime you do something like this, there's sacrifice involved, right? I had to sacrifice some things whenever I did 75 hard. I had to sacrifice my bedtime. My bedtime normally 10:30, usually about when I go to bed. I had to move it to 9:30 because I had to get up at 5 a.m. to get the first workout in. So you might have to sacrifice something to accomplish this. I sacrificed television. Don't watch it. I didn't do much of it anyway. I couldn't do any of it during 75 hard. I had to read at some point. I sacrificed social media time. My social media time was work-oriented. I made a post about 75 hard. I made a post about what we do. And then I wasn't on it because I didn't have time for it, because I took on a challenge that, for lack of a better term, if I commit myself to something, I'm freaking gonna do it. There's no joke about it. How many of you know on the 75 hard program, when you do it, there's a thing on there that you can click on the little calendar up in the top right, and it'll tell you what you've done and what you've done previously. And on the previous one, it tells you how many times you failed it. You have failed this 3 times, 2 times, 1 time, 10 times, whatever it is. I made a vow to myself that I would not have a failure. There was not going to be a fail for me. I don't want to see any previous attempts. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. And when I got done, I took a picture of the screen that said no failed attempts. That was important to me. I hope that your career is even more important to you. Everybody with me on this? This is no joke. That's how I had to look at it, was it's no joke. If I'm going to commit, I'm going to commit. I'm going to be dedicated. So what does it look like? Well, last thing, post your progress. And I'm not going to make you post a picture of yourself or anything like that, but post your wins in the group and just put hashtag TopRep90 with it. You close the deal that day, take a picture of the contract, wipe out the address if you want to, share it with the group. That will motivate everybody else. Social proof of somebody else achieving something makes us want to do it more. Now, I know for a fact that more than half of you, and probably more like 80% of you, will fail at this, whoever takes it on. Studies have been done on 75 hard. 97% of people fail in their first attempt. To me, that's crazy. I couldn't even imagine not finishing if I start it. So that's what I'm challenging you guys to, is if you start it, finish it. So, create and keep a weekly sales schedule. This is actually my very first weekly sales schedule. This is how I sold in insurance restoration. I'll give you that background. So I have my devotional, coffee, and all that good stuff in the morning, workout, call adjusters, paperwork, lunch paperwork, return emails, call adjusters, marketing to residential. See how they're all very general? It's not specific. It's that I'm doing this activity or this task during that time. This is the type of schedule I want you to create. All of you will get a copy of this presentation. You can take pictures if you want, and I'm going to send you something in the end to keep track of all this. But I don't think you have to create my schedule. You have to create yours and then follow it. If you're in day 5 and you don't follow it, you fail and you start over. With me? Any failure, you start over. So this is mine. There's some things that are conspicuously missing. I don't see TV on there anywhere. What else do you not see?
Titty bar?
No, there's none of that. No, none of that was in there. I don't know. There's a wild card up there, so it could be. I don't know. Family time is right there. I got some of that in there, but I did sacrifice some time there, obviously, right? And the reason I created this schedule is whenever I first got into this, I had to sit down with my wife and I said, hey, I'm into something here. This is something that's really good and can dramatically change our lives if I dedicate myself to it, not for 75 days, not for 90 days, for 2 years. You give me 2 years of me running a schedule like this, and I will transform our lives and our future as a family. And she was on board. She was on board with little babies. Talk about being on board for something. Somebody is supporting you. It was pretty cool. And she gave me the 2 years, and here we are today. It transforms our lives completely. So this is a good example of what one looks like. You can see I was a residential guy, but I wanted to start learning some commercial stuff. Very little time dedicated to it, but enough to get started. So think about what you need to do in your world, and when you need to do it, create a schedule and keep it. Reset meditation, 10 minutes. Remember what I talked about where it starts first is in here? So that's what we're going to start with. So first off, find a place that's quiet, distraction-free, where you feel good. My place happens to be in the backyard or in my office. I actually really enjoy being in my office. It's quiet, there's nobody else around. It's not where my dogs are barking all the time. The people that are in it are on the other end of the building, I never hear them. It's a great place for me to get quiet. I actually like turn the lights off and take 10 minutes a day to focus on who I am, what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. That's what I'm focused on. But before I get there, I got to remove all distractions, so there's no music playing. I don't have the, any of that kind of stuff going. I'm not sitting there in the Om position or any of that stuff. But I do focus on my breathing. I focus on 4 seconds in through my nose, 8 seconds out through my mouth. And just getting a good rhythm going. Because if you focus on your breath, it calms your mind. You get focused on one task. When you get focused on that one task and you dedicate yourself to it, everything kind of quiets down. We have so many things going on in our world. Right now, while you're listening to me, you're thinking of at least 10 other things at that point in time. I want you thinking about one thing. So you're going to have to get in a place that's distraction-free. You're going to focus on that breathing. And once you get that breathing under control, you're feeling it kind of get a rhythm, you're totally focused on it. I want you to start thinking about who you are. Like, who are you really on this planet? What are you going to achieve? What are you going to do? What gives you fulfillment? What gives you energy? What makes you happy? Focus on who you are, and then what you're about that day. Now, I know this sounds touchy-feely. How many of you feel like it sounds touchy-feely? I don't know if I'm in for that, right? I wasn't at all. Without this on a daily basis, I cannot keep an even keel. And even today, and I didn't do it today, I had a bit of a challenge. That belt that somebody's going to win hasn't been in this building this whole entire time until about an hour ago. Talk about somebody freaking out over stuff. I was pretty tense because it's supposed to be here. There were several things I was supposed to do with it while this event was going on that I could not do. And I was getting very worried we weren't going to deliver on our promise. Without that practice right there, I'd be even more difficult to deal with. I was difficult enough. And then your affirmations. I do believe in these. I don't believe that it determines who you're going to be and your life. And it's like, hey, if I say these affirmations, these things are going to happen. But I do believe they put you in a positive frame of mind that gives you the chance to it being more likely. None of us deserve anything. I want you to get that out of your mind, that you deserve something. You can earn something. You can certainly do that, but none of us deserve it. We're just fortunate to even be here, is the way I look at it. The world can crap on you at any second. How many of you have had the world crap on you at some point in your life? You don't deserve anything. You can earn it, though. And these little practices like this can help you get there. But don't expect it. That's not what you're doing this for. So your affirmations, they must be 3 things. There's 3 things that are key to an affirmation actually being something that can happen. It has to be true. So you can't say something like, I see myself as rich. I am rich. Like, that's such bullshit. You know it's bullshit in your head, right? Like, I got $7 in the bank. I keep saying I am rich, but I'm not rich. I don't even know if I'm going to make my car payment. But you can say, I am working towards gaining wealth. If you truly are. See how that's different? See how that affects your brain differently? The two most powerful words you can ever use in your entire life are I am. For you as a human being. Those are the two most powerful words. Now, I don't think that's the most powerful aspect in your life. I think it's the most powerful thing for you while you're on this planet. Okay? If you want to talk to me about that at another time, we certainly can. But I am working my way towards this. I am getting better at sales daily. It has to be true. It must be present tense. You notice how all of those were present tense? It's today, what's happening today. It's not what you're going to be in the future. I am going to be rich. Gonna can't be in there. It has to be present tense, and it has to be empowering. I'm getting better, that's empowering, better every day. See how those all line up? And that's, now your brain actually believes it. Your brain goes, yeah. I'm lining up what happened yesterday, the day before, and the day before, and sure enough, I am working on those things. Positive, confident. So that's pretty simple meditation. 10 minutes is going to seem like 10 hours to you the first time you do it. Stick with it, all right? After about a week, you'll crave it. You'll want to do it. Power Hour. You've heard us talk about this in the event. I'm sure Nathan and Chuck brought it up when they were talking in here a little bit. But this is sales mastery. Everybody else in this industry, at best, practices once a week. At best. They have some sales meeting and they talk about some aspect of sales, and there you go, right? So if that's what everybody else is doing, God, if you just did it twice a week, you'd be better off. But why not? Let's go every day. The largest home improvement company in America practices every day for an hour a day. It's a requirement. You can't work there without doing so. They did a little over $1 billion in business last year. If you ask them why, they'll tell you it's because of that. Culture and practice.
What's the company?
Power Home Remodeling. They also sell their roofs for about $900 to $1,200 a square. And they're super hard closers. Yeah, it's nuts. So what is this Power Hour about? Skill improvement. So I've got sales skills, I'm improving those. Pivot point cards, everybody has one now at this, in their company. They can practice them. If you don't have one for your company, go see Michelle and make sure that somebody in your company has it. All the leaders got them. If there's not a leader with your group, you got them, okay? So practice your pivot points. That can be a full hour on one pivot point until you got it down, 100%. Like, I can read it, put it down, and say it automatically without any kind of hesitation. 0. Until it's like that, it's not perfected. And then role play. You guys have been able to do some of that here, right? That role play is intentional the way we're doing it. You notice how you're all in the same room out there doing it? There's kind of a background noise going on, very similar to what's going on in a house. There's dogs running around, kids playing in the back room, all that stuff going on. We want to make it that way. Try to create a situation where it's as much like reality as possible. So you got to do it out loud. Even if you're doing it by yourself, do it out loud. I can say in my mind perfectly all day long. Second I open my mouth, man, I sound like I'm stuttering. So out loud. Record it. You don't have to record it every day. This Power Hour is 1 hour of practice, okay, in any of these areas. You pick, you choose, but you practice for an hour daily. If you're going to practice, I'm giving you some pointers on how to do it well. I promise you, go set up a video camera like Paul back there right now, videoing me, and say it, and then go listen back to it. You'll be shocked at how crappy you are. It's instant. Like, I can remember doing that it was one of those things I learned, is to video myself and go watch it back. And this is back in the day when I had VHS, like you had this big, huge camera and a big cassette in it and all that stuff. Oh, you guys don't even know what that is, do you? It was bad. Betamax, yes, I had Beta too. But watching that back, I'm like, God, I'm terrible. How do I sell anybody? But man, it made me better, faster than anybody in the company. Because nobody would do it, because salespeople were what? Lazy. And you are? Yeah. All right. And then do it with a peer. I kind of like it in that order. I'm going to go practice out loud, get good and confident with it. Then I'm going to record it, and then I realize how bad I am. I'm going to practice some more. All right, now I can do it with somebody. All right, now I can do that. All right. Big three. The three biggest things that you can do daily. And I want to remind you, this is daily, that's daily, this is daily. The three biggest things that you can do according to process and activities to increase opportunity, increase revenue, increase profit, or increase capacity. The way I was able to sell 340 some odd jobs a year was increasing my capacity. I found other resources to take things off of me so I could totally focus on as many appointments as I could run a day, because I can close. I had other people doing marketing for me. I had other people sending letters for me. I had other people doing other things for me, paperwork, everything I could do to get all of that stuff that I wasn't great at off of me so I could focus on what I was great at. And yeah, I paid them. But boy, did we generate a lot of sold jobs. How can you create your capacity? So the three biggest things you can do every day, they don't have to be big things. They can be a little bitty thing. I'm going to create a email template today to send to property management companies. Boom, boom, boom. 10 minutes, I'm done. There's my email template. I'm going to start sending that thing. Three biggest things you can do every day to increase opportunity, revenue, profit, and capacity. A social post daily. I like my guy Dan right there. Dan is one of my favorite people on the planet. He was a guy that I met playing open gym basketball. I was a coach at the University of Wisconsin River Falls, and he was a football player. He showed up, and you can tell he's kind of a bigger dude, right? Never played basketball before in his life. He says, hey, how do I get on a team? I said, well, you get in line and get picked up by somebody, and you can play. He's like, can I play with you guys? Sure. Can you dribble? Yeah, a little. All right, let me see. Oh, that's not very good. Can you pass? Yeah, you can pass a little bit. Can you shoot? No, not at all. All right, Dan, here's what you're going to do. Every time somebody else shoots the ball, go get it and pass it to one of the guys on your team. That's your job. Go do that. Absolute beast animal. Best rebounder I've ever met in my entire life, and he's about 6'2". There's guys out there 6'9", 6'8", 6'10", and he's out rebounding all of them because he's just an animal to the ball. He knew what he was supposed to do, and he'd go do it. I went, God, that guy took instruction. He went after it right away. He was hungry for it. Hey, Dan, what do you do for a living? Oh, I deliver pizzas. I go, really? How much do you make doing that? I don't know, about $300-400 a week, sometimes $500 if I get good tips. Like, man, do I have something for you? Nope, not interested. Well, just come check it out. I took him, and like he came with me to work one day. I took him out. He's like, nope, not for me. I'm not a salesperson. I'm getting my PE degree. All right, Dan. And I kept pushing him. He wouldn't do it. Whole year goes by. Coming around into summer again, I'm like, Dan, you are coming to sell for my company. I've gotten to know him a lot better. He's outgoing, gregarious. Everybody loves him. You're coming to sell for my company because I want to pay for your college. I want to help you get your college paid for. I guarantee you'll make $50,000 this summer. He's like, what? I go, $50,000. That's what you'll make this summer if you go to work. He came in, went to work, made $72,000 that summer. Never went back to school. 2 years ago, he sold $6.3 million. Last year, he sold 4.1. He can retire at any point he wants to. He's been doing it for 20 years. One of the biggest things he does, he posts daily. He posts how you can help somebody, who you help, problems you see, education, before and after photos, cool stories that he comes across out in the field, and he has a persona. Every roof he does, he takes that picture right there. It's called the pose. And if he takes a picture without that, I mean, it's a comment after comment. Where's the pose, man? What's going on with the pose? He's Dan the Roof Man. Everybody in his circle knows that Dan knows everything there is to know about roofing. And every time anybody talks to anybody in that circle says, I know Dan. You should go talk to Dan. Last year alone, Dan by himself got a little over 500 leads because he posts once a day. He tells the company he works for, don't give me any leads. I'm selling my leads to the other guys. One post a day, that's all it takes. It takes him less than 60 seconds to do. If you don't believe in the power of influence, you better start. So one post a day. Health, 30 minutes. This health isn't necessarily about you physically being better, although it is a great byproduct of it. It is about your brain being better. And this is not me giving you some opinion or anything like that. One of the things I dedicated myself to while I was doing the 75 Hard was to read something different than what I normally read. I normally read leadership, self-improvement, sales, hard to believe, I know, but that's the stuff I do. And I went, hey, I'm going to learn something new, or at least improve on what I know. So I'm going to read about nutrition, and I'm going to read about health and fitness and what physical activity does for the body. I'm not going to go into the whole thing about it. I'm probably going to do some more content on this later. But suffice it to say that your brain, much like your heart, while yes, an organ, is also a muscle. If you don't work out, what do you think your brain is doing? It's dying. It's getting smaller. It's atrophying. Whatever you want to call that. However badly I can make that sound, I want to impress upon you, if you're not working out, if you're not exercising, your brain is dying. When I read that, I swore I would never, ever have a time in my life that I wasn't going to exercise. I like my brain. I like being smart. I like remembering things. And it causes scientific chemical reactions that translate information faster, quicker, and help you remember better. Do it first thing in the morning. I mean, break out of bed and go work out. You will burn off all the cortisol that brings the stress and worry into your life and build up the serotonin, epinephrine, those things that make you feel good, and the things that help you remember. And as soon as you're done, time to get to work on learning something. First thing in the morning, cardio. Get cardio out of the way, because if you do cardio after you've slept and before you eat, you burn fat, not the food in your belly. It'll get the fat off your body. Strength training is the next best thing. Beyond cardio's good, strength training better. Complex movement is the best for your brain in it growing and translating information quicker. You want to read all the studies about it, go buy the book Spark. It's a little bit like a college book, but man, oh man, is it enlightening. I was like, okay, that has changed for me. Complex movement would be things like running an obstacle course. One of the things I did was I would run a 5K and do 20 push-ups every 200 yards. So I was doing about 500 push-ups in a 5K. That complex movement, having to think about that, makes a difference. Now, also the other thing I want to say is you can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. It makes you want to do it. You want to call it a workout because you like that stuff and that's what pushes you, great. If you want to call it recess. That's a whole different mindset, right? It just changes the way it sounds to you. Hey, I'm going to go do recess. I'm going to go play with my kids for 30 minutes. I'm going to go play basketball with my buddies for 30 minutes. Do something. Nutrition plays a huge role in this too. in what we eat and what we take into our bodies. Many of you I've spoken to, I'll never have vegetable oil touch my body again. It is a toxin to your body. I will stick to that for as long as I live at this point because I've seen the studies on it. The science behind it is real. And that includes canola oil. Any of you that thinks that stuff is good for you, it is not. Not only does it degrade your cells and create what's called free radicals. Those free radicals are the things that cause cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia. How many of you realize autoimmune things? How many of you, like by a raise of hands, how many of you have noticed there's more autoimmune now than there was 10 years ago? It's crazy. I have one and so does my daughter. I look at it as maybe part of my fault because I took in a lot of that stuff that I shouldn't have been putting in my body. I didn't know any better. Now that I do, I'm like, holy crap. Because not only does it get your cells, create free radicals that can cause those diseases, but it attacks your genes and your DNA. And you pass it to your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids. 4 generations deep it goes. Just walk around a grocery store or walk around a mall and see the 2 parents and then go look at their kids and they look just like them. We're doing that to ourselves and we can change it. If you want to have the sharps to be able to repeat something that needs to be said at the right time to close a deal, it's not just in what you know, it's what you do for your body. Learn one new thing daily. Become the expert. Learn a trade component. Learn something about roofing. Learn something about windows. Learn something about something you don't even know about. I know one thing I had to learn whenever I got into roofing. I had to learn about ventilation. I didn't know crap about. I didn't know what 300 cubic feet of attic space, what that meant. And how do I figure that? I learned that thing. I got that much better. Learn a new product. Learn a new construction practice. Learn some new code requirements. Learn a new piece of your warranty that's a value prop as compared to all the others. Learn one new thing every day. Read or listen for 30 minutes to a sales-oriented book or podcast. Distraction-free. Don't have any of the noise going on. But books. Well, I put 3 books up there that pretty good books. Pretty solid stuff. I really like Pitch Anything. It's a great book by Orrin Claff is his name. Podcast, Sales Influence. So that's like me, I like that. I like the psychology of the sale. Sell or die, that's one Chuck would love. Like, hey, that's what's going to happen. You either sell or you're going to die. Like that's, right, Chuck? That's like yeah. The Brutal Truth About Sales and Selling. Those are great podcasts. It's 30 minutes of good input into your brain on a daily basis. Doing that right after you work out, you remember it, you retain it. And then we got a random act of kindness. I want you to rack it every day. Mindful of those in need. Be aware. Start being mindful of the other human beings around you. Write a note, make a call, hold a door, buy a meal. Whatever that is for you that you get to help somebody. Be generous in one way or another. And expect nothing in return. Do it because you want to, not because you have to, or you're in this challenge or anything like that. Look for that opportunity to take just a moment. It's a practice that I do on a daily basis. None of my team even knows this about me, except for my wife because she can sneak into my emails. I send an email every day to somebody. Encouragement, condolences, how can I help? Hey, I saw this about you. I thought I might be able to give you something for that. Hey, I see you're putting out this new product. Can I help you out? Can I shoot a video about it for you? Nobody asked me to do it, and I'm not expecting anything for it. I do it because I want to help that person. Here's a whole bunch of things that you can do. Apologizing to one you've hurt, that's a good one. It's a tough one, but it's a good one. I tell you right now, if you're feeling guilt over something, getting that off of you, man, it's so freeing. It's an absolute freedom. You're like, whew, okay, now I got it out of the world. So a random act of kindness. One improvement. And I want you to write it down. So this is at the end of every day. You reflect on your day. Find the holes in your game. Like a baseball player, I knew, because it tracked it, I knew that the hole for me in hitting a baseball was high and outside. I could not hit a high and outside pitch to save my life, and every pitcher knew it. It was the hole in my game. It was what I practiced. That was my one thing, and I kept practicing till I could do it. Find the one thing that you need to improve. Look for strengths before weaknesses. I was a great hitter. I just couldn't hit that one. Hitting is a strength. Hand-eye coordination for me, for whatever reason, is a strength. I just couldn't hit that one. So I focus on a strength. Weakness for me, when it comes to certain things out there, some of my weaknesses, I'm terrible at remembering names, which is something you should be really good at as a salesperson. But I have found that it doesn't really kill my sales as badly as everybody says it does, and it's a weakness. I work on it, but I'm not dedicated to it. I'm dedicated to my strengths. Focus on your strengths, improve the weaknesses that you can as well as you can, but your strengths are what's going to take you ahead in this world. The other weakness I have is detail. I'm just not good at it. I'm not an implementer or integrator, that type of person. I'm a visionary. I got to find those people. So what I would do is I'm like, I got to find that person, not go be that person, because I'm going to not be good at it. Identify an ace. So now I got it identified, I want to take action. So I'm going to plan and take action. I'm going to do it with conviction because I absolutely believe it's worthy of getting it. And I'm going to execute. At the end of the day, the next day, I have worked on that thing. So this is a Top Rep 90-day challenge. There's 90 days. What do you notice about it? It looks like 75 hard, doesn't it? I thought it was pretty smart. I wanted to do a challenge. I didn't know a good way to do it. I did 75 hard. Guess what? There's actually a good little format for this. What else is conspicuous about it versus 75 hard? There's a day off. Even God rested, so can we. Take a day off. Spend it with your family. Do something fun. Enjoy yourself. It's the one suggestion that I would say to 75 hard. Have a day off. So 10-minute mindset, power hour, plan and complete your big 3, 1 social post, 30-minute recess, learn 1 new trade or trade value prop, read a book, or listen to a podcast, random act of kindness, write 1 way to improve, keep daily sales schedule. Is that too hard? Oh, see, Nathan, I told you. Who wants to do it? All right, we got a lot of hands up. I'm going to send you that right there in a PDF format. You can put it on your phone. You can recreate it if you want to. I can send it to an Excel spreadsheet if you want. You can actually mark it off. You want an Excel spreadsheet? That's you? Okay. Tell me how you want it. All of you can find me on Facebook. How many of you are not on Facebook? So there's not a Facebook guy. Anybody else not a Facebook guy? So here's my email address. I'll give it to you if you want it. Or come see me, and I'll give you my email address, okay? So if you can't follow me on Facebook and all that good stuff, what's that?
I said I'll just post it on Facebook.
All right. Get my email address and post it on Facebook? I got you. All right. So this is you in 90 days. Healthier, smarter, more confident, more generous, master of your craft, a better freaking human being, and you feel fulfilled and rewarded. And in other words, you're a top rep. That's what we're here to build. Not necessarily better salespeople, better people. Oh, I like it. I got a yeah. That was almost an amen. I have to pass a plate here in a minute. All right, guys, that is my presentation on a 90-day challenge. Thank you very much.